Yeah, so one of our core values as Redeemer, things that we want to emphasize and that shapes us, is the idea and the vision to be a community that is rooted. It's really especially important in our day and age where we live in perpetual and constant change. Things have progressed and changed in a faster pace than any other society has ever seen. We're driven by the new and the innovative. We are constantly in transition. And so in the midst of that, we often find ourselves without any solid ground, anything that transcends ourselves to be able to stand upon and to be rooted within. And so for us, the idea of being rooted is deeply important, especially in our society and day. But what matters most is what you're rooted in. And so at the center of what we mean when we talk about a community that is rooted is that we're rooted in Christ and his gospel. That is the thing that grounds us, that never changing reality of Christ and the work that he has done on our behalf that transcends all cultures and times, and that we stand firmly on that, and that's what roots us as a community. But also when we use the language of rooted, it reflects the idea that we find value in many of the ancient practices and traditions, the 2,000 years of the formation of the worship of the church and the tradition of the church that has been passed down and handed down to us. That we aren't coming with this idea that we are going to just invent everything fresh and new and assume that the way we see things to our current moment is the right way always to see things. So we see a lot of value in being rooted in the liturgies and the sacraments and even the teachings and practices that have been handed down to us. But at the end of the day, our rootedness is in the gospel. We find value in those ancient practices and traditions because they were shaped by men and women who saw these as ways to point us beyond themselves to the reality of the gospel. If the liturgies, if all of those traditions, those things that we still carry with us, do not point beyond themselves to the gospel, we would reject them, because our ultimate hope, our ultimate rootedness needs to be in Christ and his gospel. And so for us, when we say that we value rootedness, we're saying that we value being rooted in the gospel, rooted in the reality of Christ, and rooted in those traditions and practices that have been handed to us that point us back to the reality of Christ and his gospel.